Last night, we received the devastating news that the L1 dev team was going to be breaking up. However, this morning we received an update from the rest of the L1 dev team that's a little bit more positive. Let's break down what they said and what we can expect for the future of Terra Luna Classic development. Last night, Jacob Gadikian, who was part of the L1 dev team, made it very clear that he was going to be leaving the L1 dev team, and so was the rest of Notional Labs who was working alongside him. However, luckily we received an update from Ed Kim and a few other members who are still on the L1 dev team. Let's start over here with Ed Kim. He released a quick little thread breaking down the issue, and let's go through what he said. So right off the bat, he says that he prefers to speak over video chat as he believes a lot can be lost in translation over chats or other mediums, and has been doing so for the past couple days with the rest of the team. He starts off by saying that he believes Jacob passionately brought forth an issue in the ecosystem. It says that many have recognized this issue but have not yet prioritized this. It goes on to talk about how you can set up your own validator node and ideally run that as the safest solution. If you're unaware, what this whole thing really unfolded around was Allnodes. There was talk that Allnodes supposedly had access to all the different validators that are hosted with them, all of their different seed phrases and private keys, which poses a security risk. And then provides some additional context by saying that Allnodes is actively working to assist in securing the LUNC network. In 1 week, they're going to begin increasing their commission by 1% every day until they hit 10% commission. If their voting power is not significantly reduced by this, I've asked them to consider further increases. So if you're unaware, Allnodes right now is the largest validator on the Terra Luna Classic blockchain by far, and to try and spread out the delegations, they're going to increase their commission dramatically. That way, ideally, some people undelegate and redelegate with another validator. Ed was also told that they're working on further security measures regarding their validator services to try and make sure that the information is stored securely and protected against the vulnerable threats of hacks. Then he ends the thread by saying, kind of on a positive note, version 1.0.5 is set to pass shortly, which I believe it currently has passed as of the time of you watching this video, and he'll be coordinating the upgrade in known validator channels and GitHub repos probably tomorrow. So we can expect that upgrade to go live fairly shortly, and that'll be really great as we start to progress forward with the Terra Luna Classic blockchain. Now let's hear what we also saw from Zaradar and LUNC Army, other members of the L1 dev team. LUNC Army talks about Jacob decided to resign from the L1 task force at the time being. He kind of says that they enjoy the time with him, that they wish him well in his future endeavors, and that it's important to note that any opinions mentioned regarding the Allnodes potential security threat are Jacob's opinions, not the L1 dev team. So don't get the misunderstanding that the L1 dev team is attacking Allnodes or going after Allnodes. That is Jacob on his own pursuing something that he believes is a security threat. Then he goes on to say something kind of interesting. This is really important for us to understand here. The L1 team remains on track and on schedule to deliver the milestone targets for Q1. Now you might be asking yourself, how is that possible considering they are now down developers? But this is where we got to go to Zaradar's update to find some really important and great information. Now Zaradar starts this thread by making it very clear that the L1 dev team has nothing to do with what Jacob did, and that he did that on his own accord and is not involving the L1 dev team, kind of repeating what LUNC Army says, but as we get down in the thread, we learn some more important details. He did not at any time talk to us about his intent to pursue this course of action, and he has now chosen to make targets of us for reacting to the mess that he made, which not only hurt the L1 team, but also the collective security of the entire Terra Luna Classic network. And if you're unaware about this part of it, Jacob started going after Zaradar in the sense of saying that Zaradar doesn't know much about the cosmos, he doesn't know what he's talking about, he's incorrect, there's a major security threat that Zaradar is ignoring, and kind of just attacking Zaradar. And I talked about that in my video the other day. If you haven't seen that already, you should probably check that out to hear exactly what Jacob said. But let's continue with what Zaradar says here. This is the really gold nugget here that we're looking for. The team's been briefed on the matter, and Ed, LUNC Army, and myself all agree that Jacob leaving the L1 dev team is the best outcome from everyone, seeing he has not really done a lot of work in January. This is kind of a news to us. Apparently, he has not been actively participating in work in January, and for the person from Notional Labs, the team that Jacob's part of or Jacob founded, who did the work essentially, has agreed to maintain with the team. There's a little bit more context later on. Tobias said that they're ahead of schedule. Jacob has been MIA for 2 weeks and has literally not done any meaningful work. This is definitely a jab over at Jacob and kind of intensive. It is true that he's not actually been participating. His PRs are half-baked and don't work. This is, again, another jab back at him, which kind of makes sense. He did attack Zaradar, so it kind of makes sense for Zaradar to attack back. His issues are confusing and don't make sense, and the person who did work for him was fired by him without us being notified. So apparently this other person who was doing the work in Jacob's place was fired by Jacob, but it sounds like this L1 dev team has taken that individual back on, and they are going to remain as part of the L1 dev team, which is good news since they were the one who supposedly was doing the work the whole time, not Jacob. And so while this whole thing is just a drama mess, the bright side of it is that we have some clarity that apparently Jacob was not actually participating in the L1 dev team. Instead, it was another individual from Notional Labs who now is going to stay on the L1 dev team. So it's not like we're suddenly now short a developer. We still have the person who was doing the work the entire time as part of this L1 dev team. Hopefully this will also reduce the amount of drama and we can move forward from the situation with an L1 dev team that's going to be a little bit more concise and put together, and hopefully not so much public conflict like what we had the past couple days. There was a lot of drama and unnecessary FUD that came out the past couple days. Things got taken way out of proportion. Things just went too extreme. And so at the end of the day, yes, we had to deal with that and it was a mess and it was chaotic, but this is good going forward. This is going to resolve this issue for the future. Because if you think about it, let's say we got 4 months down the line and then we had this happen after we had good news, this would overshadow the good news. So it's better it's going to happen now. You know, obviously the best situation that this never happens, but looking at this, it's very likely that these issues would have come out eventually. And so it's probably better we got rid of it now. We took care of it now. That way we can look towards the future. We can build in the future. We can focus on the positive things in the future and move forward to try and hit Terra Luna Classic to 1 cent or maybe even $1. And if you want to learn more about what it would actually take to make that possible, check out this video up here and I will catch you all in the next one.